Now, some of you might be wondering, okay, this LS-PAC Model Center, even though we broadcasted and talked about it a lot, you might wonder what this center is about. Now, clearly you're going to get lots of information during this conference about the center, but I thought I'd first talk to you about our initial thoughts on the center. Now, we wrote a proposal to the National Science Foundation to be one of the LS-AMP Center of Excellence. And obviously we were funded because we have this center now. And the LS-AMP Center is a regional center of excellence sponsored by the LS-AMP program, which is the Lewis Stokes Alliance for Minority Participation. Occasionally, you see us refer to it as LS-LAMP. We are the Lewis Stokes Louisiana Alliance for Minority Participation, which is the LS-LAMP program. So our PAC model, LS-PAC models, you might wonder what the acronym stands for. The acronym LS is Lewis Stokes Promotion of Academic Careers through Motivational Opportunities to Develop emerging leaders in STEM. And the S is STEM. And so our whole idea is we want to increase the production of underrepresented PhDs who will go on to faculty and leadership positions in universities. Because no difference to other jobs, these jobs will lead to production of people for the future. All of you that have gone on to college know that you have opportunities that many persons who have not gone on to college will have. And you will need people who will guide you, particularly underrepresented groups, minority and women. You will need persons who are sensitive to your needs. And our idea is to generate such people, to generate more minority PhDs who will go on and get degrees that will lead them to the professoriate. So here's the center, LS-PAC model. We will be involved in lots of educational research activities. And it is an LS-AMP center, as I indicated. We will be involved to a considerable extent with universities in the Southeast, and therefore the Southeast Conference is going to be a large part of us. But you see that we are much bigger than the Southeast Conference. In fact, there will be universities from all over the country participating with us, and many other institutions outside of LS-AMP will be participating with us. And our program is broken up into several different areas. We're organizations. We get involved with Novashay, NSBE, SACNAS, and many other organizations that focus on minority serving sort of problems. We will be involved with various networks, outreach, corporate partnerships. For example, right now we're involved with IBM. We hope to extend this to Shell, Procter and Gamble, two other companies that we know that are very interested in promoting diversity. And so our overall goal is to broaden activities, broaden participation activities to achieve this goal that we talked about, increased production of underrepresented PhDs. Now, this is not just going to happen by saying abracadabra. Obviously, there's going to be lots of work into it. To help that work become much easier, we are going to develop an app. And that's what I was talking with Robert about earlier, that app that's going to be demonstrated. In this app, mentees, future faculty members, will be able to talk to persons all over the country, in fact, all over the world. Eventually, we will have mentors from all over the world regarding career opportunities. And out of that cadre of mentors, we're hoping that these mentees will find people that they can connect with. Now, if you're interested in my talk tomorrow at 3 o'clock Central Time, I will talk about people that I've connected with, because by all the normal standards, I should not be where I am. Emil, Peter, and I come from very similar backgrounds. We both have PhDs in chemistry. We both come from a little small town. Emil was talking earlier about he's from a small town, and when he was going to the big city of Bunkie, population 5,000, he was all excited about coming to Bunkie. And so Bunkie, a population of 5,000, was the big city where we were. Marksville was even bigger than Bunkie. Marksville is now the big time city right now, right, Emil? And so those are the kinds of environments we come from. And you'll learn that I am not only the first in my immediate family to get a college degree, I'm the first in my immediate family to get a high school diploma. Now, how did I get there? I mean, by all rationale, I should not be where I am today. And so that's what I'm going to talk about, my journey in going from Bunkie, Louisiana to LSU, which technically is only 75 miles away. But in fact, I traveled thousands of miles to go from Bunkie to LSU. And I'm going to talk about that trip, that thousands of miles trip tomorrow, and all the mentors that I encountered along the way who helped me to get to where I am today, because I didn't have the wherewithal. Coming from Bunkie, Louisiana, I didn't even know what a PhD was. You know, my chair of the department in chemistry, you know, he said, Mr. Warner, you'll have a PhD before you're 30. I said, Dr. White, what's a PhD? I had no idea what a PhD was. I thought we called him doctor because he had some kind of medical degree of some sort. So how can you aspire for something that you don't even know what it is? So that's what I'm going to talk about in my talk tomorrow at 3, and basically tell you that no matter what your background is, you can be above where I am today, because we are going to start that ball rolling towards your success. I'm talking to the young people right now. We're going to start the ball rolling toward your success, to you being a future leader in the STEM field. And this conference is all a part of that. We're excited that those of you who are mentors are participating, and those of you who are mentees or potential mentees are participating. If you're not a mentor and you're interested in being a mentor, please contact Robert. We're looking for more mentors. We're building up this app so that we will have thousands of options for students to talk about, and we're going to have some criteria for matching. And we'll talk a little bit about that during the app session. Now, not many of you have signed up early for the app session, so it's closed right now. Robert is going to try to figure out a way that maybe you can participate by viewing the session. If that's not possible, we'll record this session and you'll be able to play it back and see what was happening during that session. Now, this app is under development, so it's not completely developed. It is an app that we're going to be just prototyping and testing at this particular time. Hopefully, it will be fully operational before the end of the year. Robert, am I correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. And so welcome to the LS-PAC Models Conference. We're excited that you're here to join us. I think you're going to have an exciting 2 days. You know, we get all excited about science and about diversity and about interactions in these arena. And people think we're strange folks because we get all excited about science, but that's what's going to be needed in the future. That's what's going to be needed in the world, to have a much more diverse population, more women, more minorities. That's an absolute requirement. And that's what this center is about. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Warner. We are now going to hear from our National Science Foundation representatives here. And we have Ms. Martha James and Dr. Sandra Romano. Ms. James and Dr. Romano, which one of you would like to go first?
I'll go ahead, Rob.
Great. Would you like me to share the slides, or would you
No,
like?
I'll go ahead and do it. I'll
Okay,
go ahead and do it. So first, I'll just say good morning to everybody. Great to see you all here. I'm really honored to be speaking to you today at the start of this conference, and I'm really looking forward to hearing the conference. I'm Sandra Romano. I've been at NSF for almost 2 years as a rotator program officer working with LS-AMP, as well as Alliances for Graduate Education in the Professoriate. And I've been on the team this year that developed the Racial Equity in STEM program description. So I'm going to start sharing my screen and share some remarks with you. Wait a minute, let's see, make sure I'm doing this right. Okay. And let's see, share. Can you see, are you just seeing the slide, just my slide in presentation mode now?
No, we're seeing your laptop.
Oh, okay, sorry.
You,
how about now?
Now we see it.
Great, thank you. I always get that mixed up. Okay, so thank you again for allowing me, for letting me speak today. Let's see what's going on. So I'm here, I bring greetings from the LSAMP team at NSF. I'm one of 5 program officers working on the team. As Rob said, our lead Martha James is also here and will provide some remarks as well. Also on our team, we have Michelle Claville, another rotator who's been on the team for the past couple of years. And so Sandra Montez Hunter and Crystal Smith just joined us this past year. Cynthia Douglas is our program specialist, and Frances Carter Johnson is the data scientist that works closely with the LSAMP team. Al Wilson is our program director. So although I'm speaking, we all work together to manage the program and work with all of you. So in thinking about the theme of this conference, cultivating an inclusive workforce through education, mentoring, and social networks, my remarks are focused on what NSF is doing in this area. And I'll talk a little bit today about NSF's mission and the work in the Directorate of Education and Human Resources at NSF. So as many of you know, NSF is an independent federal agency created by Congress in 1950 to promote the progress of science, to advance the national health, prosperity, and welfare, to secure the national defense. And it's one of 14 federal agencies that support the national enterprise in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM for short. NSF is vital because it supports basic research and people to create knowledge that transforms the future. This type of support is a primary driver of the US economy. It enhances the nation's security and it advances knowledge to sustain global leadership. The Office of the Director, here's the organizational structure of NSF with the Office of the Director with offices for cross-foundation activities, then 7 directorates that support science and engineering, research and education, including the Directorate for Education and Human Resources. Let's see. Dr. Punch, as we call him, has been the NSF director for just over a year now. He oversees the work of the foundation and works with the National Science Board to recommend and encourage the pursuit of national policies for the promotion of research and education in science and engineering. Since taking the helm last June, Dr. Punch has clearly articulated his vision for the future of NSF and the STEM enterprise. And that vision includes ensuring accessibility and inclusivity, securing global leadership, and advancing the frontiers of research into the future. Vision 2030 is NSF's roadmap for the national STEM enterprise, and one of the 4 main areas on this roadmap is developing STEM talent for America. Oops, sorry, okay. So while the entire agency works to develop and support the nation's STEM talent, I would dare that this is the primary focus of the Directorate for Education and Human Resources. EHR programs support excellence in STEM at all levels, in all settings, for the development of a diverse and well-prepared STEM workforce and informed citizenry. EHR programs focus on building capacity, knowledge building, and knowledge utilization. There are 4 divisions, one of which is human resource development, where the programs that I'll be speaking about today are managed. In 2020, EHR provided $931 million in funding for over 4,000 proposals, a total of 996 awards to 650 institutions with 147,000 researchers supported. And as I said, the projects support all STEM disciplines, including research in STEM education, as the directorate supports the graduate research fellowships, and 42 of those fellows have gone on to receive the Nobel Prize. So developing STEM talent for the US is important because diversity enriches the innovation needed to solve problems. There is currently tremendous untapped potential throughout the nation, as depicted in this figure from the National Science Board's 2030 map. In this figure, there's a gap. You can see that there's a gap between the demographics of the STEM research community, which is shown in the solid symbols, and the demographics of the whole nation, which is each of these whole lines for women, Hispanics, African Americans, and American natives or Alaskan natives. There are missing millions, students and young people who have the drive and talent to be scientists and engineers, but might not see the path into the STEM community, as Dr. Warner was talking about in his remarks. So this figure demonstrates that we need to double or triple the numbers of these different groups to meet the needs of the national STEM workforce in 2030. That is, we need close to 4 million additional people in these groups so that in 2030, the STEM workforce will be representative of the US population. To increase the number of underrepresented groups in the STEM workforce, we need to increase the numbers along STEM educational pathways, and a lot of work and funding has been put into that effort. But African Americans, Hispanics, Native Americans are still underrepresented in these pathways, and recent increases have been small. This figure from Estrada et al. 2016 is based on 2010 data, and you can see that the numbers of African Americans, Hispanics, and Native Americans were low then. There has been some improvement. If you look at the 2016 data, where these groups were represented over 30% of the population, the number of bachelor's degrees awarded to these groups went up to almost 22%. The number of master's degrees is just over 13%. The doctorates are still just at 8.8%, and working professors are just over professors working in four-year institutions are still only 8%. So efforts to increase diversity in STEM education continue to be extremely important, and HRD programs are focused on different aspects of this effort and have been for 30 years this year. HRD is celebrating its 30th anniversary during the entire year. The goals of HRD are to prepare the next generation of STEM professionals, develop a robust research community, increase the technological, scientific, and quantitative literacy of all Americans, and broaden participation in all STEM fields. The Division of Human Resource Development has 10 programs. Some are focused on specific populations or kinds of institutions, such as HBCU, TCUP, and HSI, the HSI program. The advanced program is focused on organizational change. Some of these programs, like includes, are jointly managed with other divisions. But today I'd like to focus on, of course, LS-AMP, as well as AGEP, the Alliances for Graduate Education in the Professoriate. So as many of you know, LS-AMP is also celebrating its 30th anniversary this year as well. And it's been a very important part of broadening participation efforts for undergraduates. There are now over 50 alliances, 7 centers of excellence with 500 institutions. Over 27,000 students are supported annually by LSAMP. The overall goal of the program is to help diversify the nation's STEM workforce by funding institutions of higher education to implement comprehensive, evidence-based, and sustained approaches to broadening the participation of students historically underrepresented in STEM disciplines. That is African Americans, Hispanic Americans, American Indians or Alaska Natives, Native Hawaiians, or other Pacific Islanders. And the work is primarily at the undergraduate level, including community colleges, and at the post-baccalaureate levels. So these approaches facilitate the successful production of highly capable and diverse STEM talent. And some examples of this talent, LSAMP students are supported in participating in research, and many win awards at national conferences, such as Isiah Quadras up on the upper left from the Pacific Northwest Alliance, who won won an award for his presentation, his undergraduate work at the 2020 SACNAS conference. Alliances have published work on the work that they are doing, exemplified here by this recent publication by the Texas A&M University System Alliance. And 2 scientists have been involved in developing COVID vaccines who are LSAMP alumni, Kismikia Corbett and Darian Cash. Both were in the LSAMP program at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Kismikia is now at Harvard, these 2 different institutes, but was working at NIH as the lead on COVID vaccine development. Darian Cash is the senior scientist at Moderna Labs. So I think these are just a few examples of the great work that the LSAMP program supports. The model for LSAMP is developed from the Tinto model of student retention, and it has 3 important aspects: academic integration, social integration, and professionalization. So the idea is that students need support in high-level academic performance and faculty-staff interactions. They need social integration to form groups and have mentoring, as again, Dr. Warner was talking about the importance of that. The extracurricular activities and peer group interactions are really important in keeping students along the pathway and encouraging them to continue, as is career socialization. In other words, teaching students about the skills, culture, and attitudes of the STEM disciplines and the possibilities of different kinds of STEM careers. Centers of excellence, including LS-PAC models, have come to play a really important role in the program. The other program I wanted to talk about to make sure everybody is aware of is the Alliances for Graduate Education in the Professoriate. The goal of this program is to advance the academic careers in STEM and STEM education research of doctoral candidates, postdoctoral scholars, and early career faculty. So it's kind of like, it's also alliances, but it's at the next level. So it focuses at the above sort of where the LSAMP alliances do. Right now, the program is looking to generate knowledge about career pathway models, barriers to success, and positive changes. And there's currently 26 AGEP alliances involving more than 112 universities and colleges in 22 states and the District of Columbia. This program as well has had impacts that affect people and institutions. At Vanderbilt University, the AGEP-funded postdoctoral to faculty bridge program has become institutionalized and is operated out of the Office of Postdoctoral Affairs. And there's, again, a number of alumni who you may be familiar with, but who have, again, advanced to careers in academia or elsewhere. Dr. Jessica Watkins, who was a Caltech AGEP scholar, is now a NASA astronaut, and 2 other fellows. Dr. Amelia Fernandez was a Stony Brook University AGEP scholar and is now an assistant professor of mathematics at Pace University. Dr. Mark Torres, who was also a Caltech AGEP scholar, is an assistant professor of geochemistry at Rice University. So the Lewis Stokes Center for Promotion of Academic Careers is building on this previous work to develop a model for increasing representation in STEM academic careers and increasing the diversity of the nation's STEM workforce. I'm sure this meeting will be informative and inspiring, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So thank you for your time today. And I'm going to, Rob, I don't know if you want me to just pass it over to Martha or if you want.
Yes, that would be great. And I will share the slides that Martha has sent. So give me 1 second. Okay. All right, can everyone see?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, Miss James, whenever you're ready.
But I think, oh, okay, now we see it.
Well, good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Martha James, and I'm the lead program officer for the Lewis Stokes Alliances for Minority Participation. I am also a program officer with the NSF Includes activity here at the foundation. It is my privilege and my pleasure to be here with you today, and I also bring greetings from NSF as my colleague Sandra Romano did as well. And I certainly thank the organizers for the invitation to speak today. Next slide. Now, when I was invited, I was asked to talk about the Lewis Stokes Regional Centers of Excellence. And Dr. Warner and Dr. Romano have both talked about LS-PAC models. But I wanted to give you just an overview of some of the other LSRCEs, as we call them, here that have been funded through the Lewis Stokes Alliances for Minority Participation. Rob, you can go to the next slide. As you know, the Lewis Stokes Alliances for Minority Participation is mainly known for its alliances, but we also have other funding opportunities, and of course the LSRCEs are one of the other of our funding opportunities that is also partnership. Just some background on the LSRCEs. The first funding opportunity was became available in 2012, and that was a pilot opportunity that we wanted to open up to change from implementation to research, as the directorate, the Education and Human Resources Directorate, was moving more into the area of educational research. So we, in 2012, we funded the first center, which is the Lewis Stokes Regional Center of Excellence at that time, led by Chicago State University. Our second funding opportunity came in 2018 when we funded 6 LSRCEs. And between 2019 and 21, we funded an additional 3. Now, our LSRCEs are really very innovative. And of course, the National Science Foundation has been having the priority of announcing its 10 big ideas. And of course, the NSF Includes activity is one of the 10 big ideas. All of our LSRCEs are connectors to the NSF Includes National Network. And we also, one of our LSRCEs addressed the convergent big idea. We were so proud of these LSRCEs when they were funded that NSF issued a press release announcing the first 6. We have not done a second press release yet, announcing the additional press releases and the additional LSRCEs, but hopefully that will come in the future. Next slide, Rob. And this depicts all 9 of our LSRCEs. Of course, again, LSMRCE was our first. We now have a marine science LSRCE led by Marine Laboratory. We have a nanotechnology LSRCE led by Norfolk State University. LS-PAC models, you've heard earlier about that particular LSRCE. Our newest LSRCE is the Lewis Stokes American Rockies and Southwest Center, and this is a mentoring focused LSRCE, much like LS-PAC models. LS-AMP's study of STEM interventions is again one of our newer LSRCEs, and this LSRCE is led by the University of Missouri Columbia. LS-AMP NICE is our international center, and that center is led by Tribal College, Salish Kootenai College, along with the University of Illinois, Jackson State, and a few other of the partner institutions. Fisk Vanderbilt, Sandra noted that Fisk Vanderbilt is also ACAP Alliance, but we also have a center there that continues to study graduate education and the professoriate. And last but not least, we have the Floridian Center of Excellence, which is another center that studies STEM interventions, and that is led by Community College, Santa Fe College in Florida, as well as the University of the Virgin Islands. So next slide. So this is just an overview of the centers. This slide here tells you the categorization of the major activities or the focus of these hubs. Again, LSMRCE is the hub for LS-AMP. We have 4 of the centers that focus on researching and studying STEM interventions. Next slide, Rob, please. Of course, we have 2 that's focused on mentoring activities, and we have 2 that focuses on outreach and the REU-like. One of the important points about the LSRCEs as opposed to alliances is that LSRCEs have very little funds in the project for student support. So this was intentional so that they do not mimic REU. In addition, there is the requirement that a non-academic institution be involved as a partner in these LSRCEs. Next slide, Rob. And finally, I wanted to point out that LS-AMP is a partnership program, federal program. And our new director, as Sandra has adeptly stated, he is so very focused on the missing millions. And he has, in his numerous addresses to different organizations and to us here at the foundation, impressed upon us that we have to engage, we have to create more partnerships if we are to find these missing millions. So I'll just read a short excerpt from one of his latest articles, where he says, and I quote, "We need to work as partners to grow the STEM-capable workforce, reaching out across the science and engineering community and beyond to form partnerships that foster and support those who want to explore and learn them," end quote. And in short, in addition to the partnerships, there are other interventions that certainly will be supportive if we are to achieve this vision for the nation to continue to maintain our competitiveness, if not to increase our competitiveness in the nation. But in order to do that, we have to continue to study, we have to continue to create, and we have to continue to disseminate these new and promising practices, which is one of the goals of our LSRCEs in order to achieve this goal of finding those missing millions. So I want to thank you again for the opportunity to speak today at the LS-PAC Models Conference. And I look forward to joining some of the activities of the conference going forward. And I definitely look forward to the speakers on this great agenda that you prepared. Thank you so very much.